Okay, Graeme, so you've made it very clear that there needs to be a more balanced approach when looking at our sectors, particularly for agricultural livelihoods. So how do CSI practitioners motivate to their boards that this is an area that they need to be concentrating on? And how do those CSI practitioners demonstrate the value of funding in that sector?
Choosing to invest in food security should come from a strategic objective that you've already made at a high level as a corporate social investment vehicle, be it a budget or be it a trust or a fund. Are you wanting to achieve results in a community that are more welfare oriented? Are you just wanting to respond to immediate need? Or are you wanting to address economic development imperatives? Are you wanting to create jobs? Those are very different drivers, and the agricultural sector will respond differently to the different energies. We understand agricultural development to take place along a continuum, and that you can have food gardens that are really just about providing food for that particular household. It's a real survivalist initiative. It's about growing the food so you can eat. Expecting that garden to suddenly start making a profit, that they can start employing people as a job creation project, is tantamount to setting that food garden up for failure. And perhaps that has been an experience of the past, of many donors finding that what they expected of a project hasn't been realized. So it's about making sure that you're clear about your anticipated impact through food security initiatives. And we believe there's a continuum of development, that you do get food gardens that are at a welfare stage, that are, and that's what they're going to always be. The people involved only see it being a welfare project, about adding a few extra carrots to supper tonight. There are also those projects that are a little bit more sophisticated, one might argue, that play a different role, perhaps a more social role. You'll find food gardening clubs where maybe 40 women in a community are working together to grow vegetables in a community garden. And it's about the camaraderie and the social cohesion that that garden provides for them within that community, a certain kind of social capital. But expecting that garden to become a commercial enterprise might be putting it under too much strain. That's not what it was intended by its participants. If you're wanting to fund social cohesion projects, then look for those sorts of gardens. If you're wanting to fund commercial projects, then look for a different sort of food garden to support, or an initiative that provides the kind of support that a commercial farm would need. And that's a different sort of expertise, much higher level understanding of inputs and outputs and understanding market dynamics, which you perhaps don't need to know so much or be that much involved in if you're growing a survivalist type garden or even a community subsistence garden. So it's about understanding what your purpose is, and then understanding that Mother Nature provides a diversity of opportunities for us all to invest in. But know what it is that you're investing in and what you expect to achieve from it.
So it sounds like, if I'm understanding you correctly, that you can match your priorities in your CSI spend to the type of agricultural project very easily, because they fall into a welfare space right along to an entrepreneurial development space. So it sounds as if we're coming back to our key principle of research and understanding the needs of the project.
Yeah, there are some key development principles that apply to funding food gardens. One could argue as much as in funding other areas of corporate social investment and of community and social development, from education through health. Funding food gardens provides you an opportunity to identify the champions on the ground who are passionate about getting their fingers dirty, or have green fingers, or have a way with cows, or understand the thinking of a goat, and that they are best placed to help the people in their community use the resources the natural resources that are available, plus the expertise of how to turn those into either a survivalist garden in a sustainable way or a commercial garden. It's about giving opportunity to those, the master farmer or the fundi on the ground, the champion who will provide continued support to that community. Planting a garden today as a volunteer project maybe has some worth for some projects, maybe an orphanage or so where you can't expect the kids to plant the garden. But who's going to look after it and make sure that that garden is tended and is planted again next planting season? It's a sustained, ongoing support that food garden projects require. And it's about finding the champion and investing in the wealth that is there. Finding it, so there's that research, understanding what you're investing in, and supporting the champion.
It sounds almost as if we've had a situation where people think that this is the easiest sector to fund. You plant some plants, some vegetables, and there you go. Your project is finished because this garden is going to last forever, and it's going to not only create a feeding opportunity, but it's also going to create job opportunities. And it sounds as if the sector is actually a lot more sophisticated than that. It's a lot more complex than that. So what is being done to educate corporates about the complexities of the sector while you are demonstrating the value of funding the sector?
What I've found to be the most useful is to listen to the people on the ground who are getting it right. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to find them, and when you find them, listen. And the value is there. The knowledge is there about how we can go about getting involved and supporting agricultural development. So it's about listening and responding to the knowledge that is on the ground. It's not that easy to support a community that doesn't have social capital, that doesn't have someone with the knowledge. And it's very difficult to be torn between responding to need alone and responding to a community where there's need, but where there's also some sort of social capital that you can support. And of course, that champion must be there. It's about sharing as well. And so opportunities like workshops and conferences are vital to getting the food garden movement going. It's about sharing what works, what doesn't work, and sharing the value of supporting food gardens at the various different levels, like nutrition versus job creation, supporting education and so on.